Today, the northern plains and upper Midwest are gearing up for a high-impact severe weather event, and I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill summer storm. We're looking at a potent system with an enhanced risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center that's level 3 out of 5, stretching across eastern Montana, the Dakotas, northern Minnesota, and even clipping parts of Wisconsin. This isn't a random chance. This is a setup that's been brewing all week as a deep, low-pressure system barrels across the region. Here's the science. Hot, humid air is surging north from the Gulf of Mexico, colliding with a much colder, drier air mass pushing down from Canada. That clash builds instability in the atmosphere. Think of it like shaking a soda can before cracking it open. Add in a powerful jet stream overhead, and you've got the perfect storm recipe: lift, moisture, and shear. The SPC warns of hurricane-force wind gusts exceeding 74 miles per hour, which can flatten crops, knock out power lines, and turn debris into dangerous projectiles. We're also looking at tornado potential, especially in central and eastern North Dakota down into northern South Dakota, where wind shear is strongest. And don't forget about hail. Some stones could exceed 2 inches in diameter, big enough to smash windshields and cause structural damage. Timing matters. The first storms could fire by late morning in eastern Montana and the western Dakotas, but the real danger ramps up in the afternoon and evening. That's when storms are likely to organize into fast-moving squall lines sweeping east into Minnesota and Wisconsin overnight. Fast movers mean less warning time, and at night visibility drops, making these storms even more dangerous. If you live anywhere from Bismarck and Fargo to Minneapolis and Duluth, tomorrow's not the day to ignore the sky. Stay plugged into NOAA weather radio, radar apps, or local TV. Have your safe space ready, because once these storms ignite, you won't have time to second guess. If you're in eastern Montana, the Dakotas, or Minnesota tonight rolling into tomorrow, you're sitting on the front edge of one of the most dangerous storm setups of the summer. The Storm Prediction Center has already lit up this entire zone with an enhanced risk. That's a level 3 out of 5 on the severe scale. And that's not just hype. It's the kind of forecast that makes seasoned chasers gas up and point their trucks north. Here's the science. A strong, low-pressure system is diving out of Canada, pulling in a surge of hot, humid Gulf air. That warm, moisture-loaded air is slamming into a cooler, denser air mass dropping out of the Rockies. And when you have heat, moisture, and lift all colliding over open plains, that's jet fuel for severe storms. Model soundings are showing CAPE values, convective available potential energy, climbing past 3,000 joules per kilogram in spots. That's extreme instability. It means the atmosphere is primed to send air parcels rocketing upward at highway speeds. Pair that with wind shear profiles pushing 50 to 60 knots, and you've got a setup for organized supercells. These storms aren't going to just pop up and fizzle. The environment supports them merging into a powerful bow echo, blasting across hundreds of miles with hurricane-force straight-line winds that could level trees and shred power lines. We're talking 70, 80, even 90-mile-per-hour gusts in the core of this line. The tornado potential is highest early, in that messy zone where isolated supercells spin up before the line congeals. North Dakota into northwest Minnesota is the bullseye for that. These could be EF2 strength or stronger if they latch onto the right wind profiles. Large hail is also on the table. Forecast soundings support hailstones up to 2 inches in diameter, which is enough to punch through windshields and shred siding. If you're in Bismarck, Fargo, Grand Forks, Minot, Williston, or even as far east as Bemidji and Duluth, you're in the zone. This system's forward speed means once it hits, you've got minutes, not hours, to take cover. Power outages, almost guaranteed somewhere along this track. These winds will tangle transmission lines like spaghetti, and with dew points pushing into the upper 60s and low 70s, you're going to feel that heat if your AC cuts out. Bottom line, this isn't a watch and wait event. This is one of those drop what you're doing, charge your devices, and keep the radar open kind of nights. Here's the timing you need to lock in. Storms will start firing late this afternoon and early evening along the western edge of the Dakotas and eastern Montana. That's when you'll see the isolated supercells, the loners, and those are the most dangerous for tornadoes. They'll have clean inflow, wide open sky, and plenty of room to rotate. By mid to late evening, those storms are expected to merge into a squall line, your wall of wind. When that happens, the threat shifts from isolated tornadoes to widespread destructive winds. That line could roar east well past midnight, hammering Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks, and pushing toward Minneapolis by sunrise. If you're asleep when that line hits, you could wake up to your roof coming off. The sound? People compare it to a freight train, but when you're in the path, it's louder, deeper, the kind of roar that rattles your bones. Preparation tips. Charge every device you own before sunset. Keep a battery-powered no AA weather radio on alert mode. If you're in a mobile home, have a backup shelter location. These winds will roll a trailer like a tin can. Clear your yard of anything that can turn into a projectile. Lawn chairs, grills, kids' toys, and hail. When the first storms flare, you could get slammed before the wind even shows up. Park vehicles inside or under cover. 2-inch hail will shatter glass and dent metal. The overnight factor makes this more dangerous than a typical summer storm. At night, you can't see the wall cloud, can't spot the shelf cloud, can't tell how close it is until it's on top of you. Don't wait to confirm it with your eyes. Confirm it with the radar. The SPC's enhanced risk is the meteorological equivalent of a red flag. With high CAPE values, screaming upper-level winds, and a deepening low pulling the strings, this is a setup that chasers dream of, but locals dread. Tomorrow morning, the system will weaken as it pushes into Wisconsin and the western Great Lakes, but not before leaving a trail of power outages, snapped poles, shredded grain bins, and a map full of damage reports. If you're in this zone, Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, tonight's not the night to play hero. Be ready, be smart, and ride it out safe. This is Weather War Zone.